Hi, group number ones. Welcome to this week's reading. This week we are talking about boundaries, specifically the 7 kinds of boundaries. So, boundaries are things that you put in place to protect your mind, your space, yourself from other people, and they're a way to teach people how you would like to be treated, to let people know what kind of behavior you expect around you, what kind of space you need in certain situations, what kind of person you are, and how you wish to be treated by others. Basically what they are about. So we're going to talk about all 7 of these. There's a lot of cards. I'm using both my new Angel Tarot deck, which is beautiful. They are an advice deck, so I thought they would be very useful. They're very guardian angel-esque, and what better to guard our boundaries than our angels? So I'm using that, and I'm also using our Rebel deck, Oracle deck, which is a bit of a loud talker. They're a bit, their language is blue. So if you're somebody who doesn't like the word fuck, this deck isn't for you, and maybe this reading isn't for you, but there's going to be some cool information. So if you can get over the swearing, it will be good for you. Anyway, this is the card that drew you guys in. The Fates. And I'm really going to use this card to kind of steer my reading a bit today, because I feel like this energy is very good and prevalent for the topic of boundaries. Why do I think that? Because the Fates are very past, present, future, and they weave and guide your life, and boundaries are meant to help you weave and guide your own life. It's also a thing that you learn from past experiences to put boundaries in place in your present so that your future can be what you desire, as opposed to just letting stuff happen to you that you don't like. So let's get going, shall we? Okay, so this first card over here, this card is talking about physical boundaries. Physical boundaries are your personal space, your personal environment, the things, how you expect the things around you to be cared for. Like if you have a roommate, you don't want their trash all over your house. Get it? Yeah? Okay, so the card that we have for you guys here in this section is the 9 of Water. Oops, sorry, the sun came through just then. Go away, sun. Here we go. The 9 of Water. Oh. There you go. I don't want you to see this card. Anyway. This is the 9 of Water, and it says, your wish comes true, concerns fade away, love of a life. A love of life. Oh, sorry. A love of life. And the card that came with it, which is your Rebel card, says, whatever you are thinking about, don't do it. Now is not the fucking time. Interesting. So, yeah, with these 2 cards together, 9 of Water being the 9 of Cups, and now is not the fucking time, I'm really seeing that maybe you've been thinking about making a change to your physical environment, boundary-wise, I'm not really sure what, but it seems to me that your guides are saying that your physical environment is actually a space you should be really enjoying. And it has this energy of like somebody who wants to, you know what it has the feeling of? It has the feeling of when like I get this feeling pretty often when you like want a change so bad that you're like going to, you like want to do something drastic. Like girls do this a lot with our hair. So like, you're in a place that you like want something to change. So you just cut off all your hair on a whim, and then like you immediately regret the decision. That's the energy I'm getting from this, is that your physical environment, though you might be feeling like you want something in it to change, I think your guides are trying to tell you that this space you are in is a good one, and that maybe you need to sit with it for a little bit while longer and look at the positive sides of things, because there's something like the Nine of Cups is like all your wishes coming true. Like there's something that's going to happen or occur that's going to take your worries away. It also gives me this energy of somebody who is like worrying way too much about, let's say, the perfection of your environment, and you're using your boundaries to like try and make everything around you perfect instead of enjoying the space around you. And like, yes, there is a place for physical boundaries with people, like don't eat my cereal that I just bought, or like please take your shoes off when you come into my house. Like those things are very reasonable and normal. But if you're going to extremes with perfectionist behavior in your physical space, you're creating an environment that nobody can come into because nobody's perfect. So making it's almost like I'm hearing like making a boundary with yourself around your perfectionism, and starting to do self-talk in the idea that nothing is perfect and nothing has to be perfect, is really what I'm getting from this energy, is that there's a need to embrace the imperfections and see them for their beauty, and not take things so, like, don't be such a tightwad. That's kind of what I'm hearing about your space. Sharing your space a little bit might be helpful to you as a person. Now, don't make your physical space dangerous for you, but like, it's one thing to be cautious about who you let in your space, and it's another thing to just shut the whole world out. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So I'm gonna move on from that. And we're gonna go on to sexual boundaries. So sexual boundaries protect your right to consent. These are boundaries we put up with our partners or other people we're seeing to protect our rights of consent, to explain our preferences, to give definition to good touch, bad touch type of things, and just kind of give somebody a window into our inner life and sanctuaries. So, one second. Okay, so the cards we have for you in this space are the Nine of Earth. Wow, you guys got a lot of nines, which is enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. And we also have your Rebel card, which says shame, regret, and guilt. Those are just bullshit. Forgive and let that shit go. Ooh, I like this. All right. This is a pretty clear message to me. What I'm seeing here is like you might be somebody who doesn't have a lot of boundaries around sexual things, and you might be feeling some shame and regret in areas of like allowing someone in where you didn't want somebody to come in, or maybe feeling like you've been pushed to do things that you didn't particularly enjoy or want to do because you didn't have firm boundaries in certain areas. So I'm really seeing that your guides are like, hey, so spending quiet time alone is super helpful. Like working with yourself in a sexual manner can really let you know what you like and don't like. But also, like, don't feel regret and shame for things that are past. Instead, begin to build healthy practices for yourself and begin to really figure out how to speak into the world what you want. It's sometimes really hard to have sexual conversations about what we need or want or enjoy because we feel like the other person needs this thing, so I'm just gonna give it to them, when that actually crosses over our own boundaries. So the practice of speaking out and saying, actually I have a headache, or actually I don't want to engage in this moment with you, I'd rather just sit here. That practice can take some time to like build up a skin, build up a bravery to do, but it's really important because again, you're carrying around shame and guilt and regret for things that maybe you didn't particularly want to do. So it's okay to be, if you're like, let's say you're like an ace person or somebody who like doesn't need or want sexual gratification, that is fine. Like, you don't have to indulge in other people's needs just to be in a relationship with someone. If the person is right for you, then they will respect your boundaries and respect what you are willing to participate in and what you are not willing to participate in, and they will want to be in the relationship with you regardless of those things. So I'm also seeing the flip side of that idea, where like you're somebody who wants to do all of the things all of the time, and you're really you feel guilt and shame around that and want to explore more and want to do more things and want to really enjoy life's luxuries. And there should be no shame or regret around that either. It's about communication and really speaking with those in your life that you have this kind of relationship with, and really explore what their boundaries are and explore together. Yeah. So that's all I'm seeing for this group here. So the next pile is emotional and mental boundaries. This is like the kind of boundaries that help you stand up for yourself, that keep other people from damaging you emotionally or mentally. This is the kind of boundary you would set up when you don't want to talk about something, or when you have, these are boundaries that help you stand up for yourself and express yourself out in the world. So that's all I'm going to say for now. So this is the card that you got. You guys got the 8 of Fire, which is the 8 of Wands. Oh, sorry. 8 of Fire, which is the 8 of Wands. And it says, events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things happening at once. We also have, you think someone is lying. They are. Okay. Yeah, this is a big one. Okay. Ooh, boy. 8 of Fire, and you think someone is lying. They are. Yeah, so this seems to be an area of your life that your guides are like, hey, you need these. Maybe you're a people pleaser and you've let people kind of take over and do what they want, or you've allowed certain people in your life that are not trustworthy and they continue to show themselves as untrustworthy, but you haven't set any boundaries with them to be like, hey, I know you're lying, and like, I can't, like, lying is not okay with me. So if you're going to lie to me, then I cannot speak to you about this topic. Or if you're going to lie to me, we cannot have this kind of relationship, or whatever it is, whatever boundary you feel you need to set with somebody. You should. I think your guides are also telling me that this is a space that you are rapidly growing in. This is a space you're actively working on. And honestly, as you set up boundaries for yourself emotionally and mentally, these are the kinds of boundaries that often you talk about in therapy. This is the kind of boundary you would set with yourself when you are trying to have better self-talk. Like, I'm not going to speak to myself that way because it hurts my feelings. These are those kinds of boundaries. And it seems like this is an area that you're super working on. And the more you work in this area, the more boundaries you set up with individuals in your life, even those who haven't ever really had boundaries with you, the more you're going to unveil some people's true nature. It's going to become clear who is willing to begin to work with you in this area and who is like not willing at all and is just kind of used to trampling all over your life and is just going to keep doing that. This process is definitely better done with a therapist, but you can do it yourself. I would recommend listening to podcasts or other things about boundaries and figuring out what boundaries are best for you and how best to set them. I'm actually going to link a podcast down in the description of this video that was a really good introductory podcast to what boundaries are and what how to set them and what to do when they are not met. And it's a podcast that says for people in our 20s, but like, it's basic information that if you're just new to boundaries in general is just good information for you to know. So I'm just gonna link that down in the description of all of the videos, but particularly this one, because it seems like you guys are really doing some heavy work in this area, and it would really kind of help you to get some real information under your belt and begin the process of setting your own boundaries. This is the kind of boundary that we hear most about, I would say, at least in the psychoanalysis kind of world. And I'm really proud of you guys. Like, things are moving fast. Delays are over. Many things happening at once. You're really working really hard on this. and you're really working on protecting yourself and your state of mind and your emotions, and not letting people who have ill intent wreck your day, basically, or come into your life, or your space, or your mental space even. And that's really hard, and I'm really proud of you guys, just so you know. Okay, so this next bunch of cards these are spiritual boundaries. These boundaries help you protect your right to believe what you want and practice your beliefs. So we're going to look at what card you guys got here. You guys have the 5 of Air. Focus. The 5 of Air, which is an unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. And you also have Rebel. Wow. Rebel. Because fuck it. Okay. Wow, I like this. So what I'm seeing here is that you guys are, so 5 of Air is also 5 of Swords. It talks a lot about conflict, about fighting, but also about people kind of being sneaky behind your back, kind of a situation. In this situation, I feel like you're somebody who's really starting to explore your own spiritual beliefs and your own spiritual path. Like, you're just starting to learn some stuff, and you're kind of like, I don't know which way to go, and I don't know what I really want to learn, or what's what you're kind of like steering yourself away from what you grew up on, and are kind of veering towards a new path, and you're not sure what's reliable and what's not in this new path. And what I'm gonna say is that in this situation, I want you to do a lot of your own research, because your own spiritual beliefs can really be influenced by other people, and not every spiritual leader is doing it for your good. They could be doing it for money, or their own importance, or a misguided need to have this many souls on their saved list. You know what I mean? So if you're exploring a new way of being spiritual, a new path, I really want you to examine the people teaching you those things, examine their motives and their reputation and like all that stuff, and put up some boundaries with people who are not reliable, not worthy of your exciting rebellion. Yeah, this is the boundary. Take everything with a grain of salt. Because everybody has their own opinion, their own viewpoint, their own baggage that they bring to a spiritual teaching. So always take what resonates with you and leave anything that doesn't. That is a very good boundary for you spiritually, just because people's words can really influence how you view truth and how you view yourself spiritually. And I don't want anybody's words to contradict what you believe, and then you take their words as truth and discard your own belief for someone else's. You should fully own whatever you believe in, and not feel that you have to change something you believe based on someone else's opinion or interpretation or whatever. Okay, so the boundary is take things with a grain of salt and believe what you want to believe. Yeah? I hope that makes sense. All right, we're moving on. So number 5, this little group is about financial boundaries. And this is about how you would like to use or protect your resources. The person in the podcast that I'm going to link down below described certain boundaries as like she had a lot of friends who are all making different wages. So one of the boundaries they all set when they go out to dinner with each other is we're going to go to a reasonably priced place so that even those of us with the lowest income can still sit and enjoy a good meal and not feel out of place or not feel that they are lesser because they can't quite afford the place that we're going to. So that would be an example of a financial boundary. So here we go. We are focusing on this card. This card you have is the 4 of Air. Time to rest, take a vacation, allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. And your Rebel card is this little lightning bolt, and it says, figure shit out on your own. Cool. I like this. So, wow, this is like so, yeah. These decks are funny together. So, the 4 of Air is the 4 of Swords, which talks about self-care and taking rest and time, and also, yeah, well, as it said, meditation may provide answers. Figure shit out on your own. This is a thing. I think what it's saying is that this deck doesn't really want to give you financial advice, but it does want you to not avoid your finances. Don't avoid the hard tasks of your financial life, of your financial boundaries. Really sit down and have conversations with, if you have a partner, really have a conversation with your partner about what needs to happen financially. Yeah, because you need to figure shit out. I think this is talking about really having space for yourself, putting aside time for yourself to figure out like your own finances and what boundaries you need to set with spending, or what boundaries you need to set with, like, maybe we don't get the brand items for a while, or we don't go out to concerts every night in the weekend, or I don't know, just this is like a you need to sit down and budget kind of message. And let me tell you, I struggle all the time with this shit. It drains you like nothing else in the entire world drains you, but is a thing that we have to deal with because we are humans living in a capitalist society. So unfortunately, this is a thing that we do have to figure out and deal with. So take your time with it, and also allow yourself to have some compassion for yourself in this area. If, like, let's say figuring out your taxes really stresses you out, well, this week we're not going to worry about the fact that we're eating junk food because we're figuring it out taxes this week. Okay? Like give yourself some self-care and support around this area, and some patience, and even like maybe reach out to some people to figure out what boundaries you need to set with yourself or with others in this area. If you're somebody who is a giver and you like to help your friends out and all that stuff. Sorry, group number 1, my camera cut me off there, but basically what I said was, basically if you find yourself at the end of the month being like, I have no money for myself. There needs to be a conversation had with your friends that you can't support everybody else's good time. You can help them out where they really need it, but need to cut back on the just giving away things. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which is these. This is 6, which is time boundaries. This is these are boundaries you put in place to protect how you spend your energy. So we have the World card. Ooh, Archangel Michael. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude. The path towards enlightenment. Ooh. Crazy. And your Rebel card says, stop texting, stop stalking, stop checking on that person. Just fucking stop. Spend your time on someone worth it. Don't waste it on ridiculousness. Oh my gosh. And we got this one in the time section? That's crazy. Okay, so the World card really talks about things coming to an end. So this might really be talking about, with the Rebel card here, there's somebody who is taking your time who is not worth your time. There's somebody who is in your life that is taking your time, that is just, they don't want to be with you. They don't want to make your time blessed. They just want to take from it. And they're not kind to you in any way. But perhaps a conversation with this person, if that is safe and good for you, about the fact that we can't spend time together if all we do is fight. Or something like that. Or maybe it is time to actually just walk away from somebody, and that's okay too. Like, yeah, if this is feeling like it is a waste of time to continue onwards, then maybe it is time to go, to cut off somebody. And the World card is also talking about joy, contentment, and gratitude. This is like an example of how time is well spent on joy, on contentment, on gratitude. Yes, not every moment is going to be joy and contentment, not at all, but the idea is to go towards that path, like follow the path of enlightenment, go up the ladder of enlightenment, so that a lot less of your moments are spent worrying, or a lot less of your moments are spent just fucking hating existing. And there are definitely some people that are contributing to this that need to be there needs to be less time given to them. Yeah. But I think you're also, like, with a job well done, I think you're doing a good job of this. Like you, with these two together, like your mental state, emotional state have a lot to do with your time, and like, at least these two messages do, and like, you are working on this. This is not something that you are just letting happen to you anymore. This is something that you're actively working on, and Michael is saying, good job, you're doing it. It's getting there. It's happening. It's all happening. The World card is the, like, epitome of the success, basically. So you are doing it. You are cutting out these people. You are setting up boundaries with these people. You are making your time more about you and yourself, and about the things you enjoy, and less about the pain of existence, which is a fundamental reality of being a human, but focusing on the beauty, on the things that really pour into your life instead of the things that take from it, is a constant work and adventure and something worth investing in. So yes. All right, the last thing we have, this section is called the deal breakers. These are like other boundaries that aren't necessarily part of any of the other 6. They're kind of unique unto you. They're things that you uniquely need for how your life is. There's lots of different kinds of deal breakers. A lot of people would put infidelity into this group just because it's a combination of many different things, but it could be something as silly as like, I need to, I don't know. I need to always make sure I am at work on time. So I am going, oh, well, this is more of a time boundary. But I'm always going to give myself the time to get anywhere, because otherwise I feel really anxious about not getting somewhere on time. So I'm always going to give myself way more time than I need to get somewhere. That's a time boundary, but it's also a mental and emotional boundary, as well as a physical boundary. So it's kind of a combination of like a bunch of different things. That's what I mean by unique deal breaker kind of boundary. It's something that is a combination / unique to you. So we're gonna see what your guides advise you to have a boundary with in this. So we have the Page of Air: logical, honest, impulsive, curious, challenging information, delays, challenges, changes to plans, truth delivered without tact. Interesting. And then we have fuck fear. It will lie to your face. Oh, I really love this. This is a beautiful, unique boundary for you guys. So a lot of what we talked about here and over here had to do with fear, had to do with not being honest with yourself, not being, not wanting to upset other people. So we haven't spoken out about what we need or want. We've been very trusting with people who were supposed to have our best interest in mind, and instead ended up leading us astray, type of thing. So this is a boundary for yourself to really be logical, honest, impulsive, curious, and not be afraid of putting yourself out there, to really be honest, to say what you mean. Like almost radical honesty is what this is talking about. It's saying like, hey, fuck the fear. Like we need to take care of ourselves, how we need to be taken care of, and like it doesn't matter if it makes sense to anybody else. This is how we're doing it. This is what we need. So we're gonna do it this way. Like fuck everybody else. This is about you. Do what needs to be done for you, and do it in the way that is good for you. Weave your own fate. Don't leave it up to other people. Don't let other people control how you want to exist. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm seeing for you guys. So, the last thing I'm going to do for you, I know this reading was super long, but I felt like it needed to happen. So, the last thing I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to get out my Kali Oracle deck, and we're just going to get one last message of advice from Kali herself, because she is the queen of destroying and rebuilding things, and boundaries kind of do that. When we start setting up boundaries with people who don't want to have boundaries with us, It can really destroy or rebuild a relationship and make it look totally different than before. And even ourselves, we can totally destroy and rebuild ourselves with our boundaries. So, Kali, would you please give us one message for group number 1 about boundaries, about this whole message, whole thing about boundaries? Would you please give us one card to really sum up the advice that you have for us? Yep, that card for sure. Okay. Let's see which it is. All right, we have, card 31. Wow, this is one of her really destroyer faces. This is card 31, Chamunda. Ooh, you got a lot of big change coming your way, buddy. But that's good. We're excited about it. 31, Chamunda. Her unerring instinct for spiritual protection arises spontaneously, even when we do not realize we need it. Sometimes we don't realize just how far we've become entangled in that which is not good for us. We do not realize we need Kali's powerful intervention. Knowing what to allow and what to fight for or against requires wisdom. Holding the space for an inner or outer conflict to be resolved involves discipline. Chamunda is the fearlessness, wisdom, patience, and discipline needed to conquer a difficult situation. She is with you now. Okay, I'm going to read this part to you too. Despite her inherent drama and intensity, Chamunda is beloved by the heroic heart. She assists us when we need to find strength to overcome our psychological limitations and inertia to assess, integrate, and sustain higher frequencies and states of being. Bringing about a permanent structural change of the psyche is a hard work. It requires commitment. However, bullying ourselves into being different or applying more and more willpower will only tend to create resistance, adverse reactions, and exhaustion. It is more a case of applying wisdom, finding the balance between persistence, determination, and compassionate rest and release, so that we can integrate and rebuild from within. Discipline as engaging in activity. Learning to move between the two as appropriate takes strength and wisdom. Mastering the balance to nudge ourselves forward on our path and facilitate change, but not so much that we feel defeated even before we gain traction. This is advanced inner work. Chamunda is the power to accomplish it. Her presence in a reading is a portent of a truly exceptional breakthrough on your path. The healing of masculine energy and the protection of the sacred feminine within your heart. Yeah, I think you guys really needed that one. Okay, group number 1, thank you so much for being here today. This is all I'm seeing in your reading. I know it was a shit ton of cards, but hey, it was fun. So I will see you all on our next reading. I think we will do something a little fun next week, but I'm not sure. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you all have a blessed everything. This was Pan. See you next time. Bye, you guys.